Hi everybody, it's John Benko, the Director of Nursing here on the Belfair campus. Today is April 9th and it's a COVID-19 update. It's also Passover, so if you celebrate Passover, happy Passover. I took my temperature today, it was 98.4 degrees. You should be taking your temperature and making sure you don't have any symptoms of any illness. If your temperature is above 100 degrees or you're not feeling well, follow your call-off protocol, notify your supervisor, and do not report to work. In addition to keeping track of your health, we want to make sure our clients are all healthy here on campus. We have them under surveillance. We're taking their temperature a couple times a day. I have to tell you that no current residents have any fever or symptoms of COVID-19. You will be seeing some things in the news. On April 8th, some new guidelines came out from the CDC. Those guidelines affect critical workers or essential workers such as ourselves, and what happens if they're faced with an exposure. So if we've been exposed as a critical worker to a COVID-19 positive person, what should happen? And what they want to make sure is that all employees are pre-screening themselves, making sure they don't feel ill and they don't have a temperature. We want to regularly monitor all of our health. If we're not feeling well or if we develop any symptoms, we need to go home. If we've been exposed and we're asymptomatic, but we've been notified by the health department we had a positive exposure, we want to wear a mask for the next 14 days if we're in the workplace or out in public. We want to make sure that we use social distancing whenever possible, make sure we have 6 feet apart, and we want to disinfect and clean our workspaces and maintain our hygiene. Most of that we're already doing. Some of that, of course, is changed. The need for quarantine isn't being recognized anymore. What they're looking for essential workers is that we just make sure if you're asymptomatic, you are not posing any sort of an infection threat to anyone that you're working with. A couple things that we do want to talk about here on the Belfair campus. One, how do we make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to do? I know you're all washing your hands, you're refraining from touching each other, but how are we doing on social distancing? We need to spread out a little bit. Certainly in the course of the day, we don't always have time to spread out or the space to spread out. The task at hand may not allow us to spread out, but whenever possible, we want to distance ourselves from each other. Give yourself 6 feet when you can. When you're on a break, when you're in a room with other employees, get as far away as you can. We want to make sure that we're refraining from going to areas outside of our work area. We want to limit contact with each other, physical contact. Don't go into other work areas. Stay as far away as you can, as long as you can, whenever possible. Use technology. Use the phone. Use Zoom. Use Skype. We want to maintain good hygiene precautions and make sure that we're not infecting each other. CDC came out with some guidelines not too long ago to wear a mask when you're in public, so when you're out shopping, etc., those cloth masks can come in handy for that. The other thing we want to talk about is what happens if we have a positive case of COVID on site. So one of our coworkers takes ill and gets tested and is found out to be positive. Well, we know that the county health department would monitor that. We know that as an employer, we'd be in contact with them. They would find out both through the employee who tested positive and through their employer, all the persons they may have come in close contact with. And then the health department would reach out. We as an employer would also try to reach out and let you know that someone you were in close contact with had been tested positive for COVID-19. And then you would hear those guidelines that we just talked about, those guidelines from the CDC that remind you to pre-screen yourself before you come to work. Make sure you don't have symptoms. Make sure you don't have a temperature. Make sure that you wear a mask if you're asymptomatic for 14 days if you're out in public or if you're at work. Keep your area clean, maintain good hygiene, and use social distancing whenever possible. So a little change in the guidelines, but guidelines that certainly are designed to make sure that we're all staying safe and keeping each other safe as well. That's all I have for an update today. I hope if you celebrated Passover, you had a good one. I know it's been a little different of a Passover season for everyone as things have changed for us. So I hope you had a happy day nonetheless. Thank you for all that you're doing. We'll be in touch with updates as soon as they happen. Keep watching these videos. If you need help with stress or anything else and you want to avail yourself to the Employee Assistance Program, reach out to HR, your supervisor, or email me at benkoj@wingspancg. Same with questions. Send them up through your supervisor or email me and we'll get them back to you either on one of these videos or directly. So that's it for today. Thanks for everything that you do again. Wash your hands and stop touching each other. We'll talk soon. Bye now.